Mia had spent weeks searching for a new apartment, literally tired of it, and when she finally found one in her budget, a spacious one-bedroom in an older building, it felt like a miracle. The rent was suspiciously low, but the landlord, a frail old man named Mr. Grayson, assured her it was just because of the building's age. "There's only one rule," he had said as he handed over the keys, his bony fingers trembling slightly. "No matter what you hear, do not open your bedroom door after midnight." Mia had laughed nervously, thinking it was some weird old man's superstition. She nodded, promised to follow the rule, and moved in the next day. That first evening, everything seemed normal. The apartment was quiet, the neighbors barely made any noise, and aside from the occasional creak of the old wooden floors, it was peaceful. She went to bed early, exhausted from unpacking. But at exactly 12:03 a.m., she woke up. A soft shuffling noise came from the hallway outside her bedroom door. Her breath caught in her throat. It sounded like footsteps, but uneven. Like something dragging itself along the floor. She squeezed her eyes shut. It's an old building, just settling. That's all. Then came the whispering. Low, raspy voices, just beyond the door. Mia's heart pounded. She couldn't make out the words, but the whispers grew in number. One voice turned into two, then three, then more. Then the whispers stopped. A long pause. Silence. And then... knock. 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 Soft, deliberate knocks. Mia clapped a hand over her mouth to stifle a scream. She remembered the landlord's warning. Do not open the door. The knocking came again. Then, a voice. Let me in. Mia's stomach twisted. The voice was dry, cracked, like old paper crumbling in the wind. She didn't move. Didn't breathe. The doorknob twitched, her body went rigid. The knob slowly started turning. She wanted to scream, to grab her phone, to run, but she couldn't move. It was as if something in the air held her in place. Then, silence. Minutes passed. The air felt thick, suffocating. Mia listened, straining to hear anything. Nothing. After what felt like hours, exhaustion finally pulled her back into an uneasy sleep. Mia spent the next day trying to convince herself it was just a bad dream. Stress, exhaustion, her mind was playing tricks on her. But that night, she barricaded the door anyway. She dragged her dresser in front of it, along with a chair under the knob, just to be safe. She went to bed, but she couldn't sleep. Then, at 12:03 a.m., it began again. The shuffling. The whispers. Only this time, they were inside the room. Mia froze. Her breath came in short, ragged gasps. A sickening chill spread through the air. The sound wasn't coming from the hallway anymore. It was coming from her closet. Slowly, agonizingly, she turned her head toward the closet door. The door, which she had left closed, was now open. Just a crack. And inside that sliver of darkness, something moved. Her eyes widened in terror. A hand emerged. Long, pale. Fingers stretched unnaturally wide, twitching. Something was crawling out. Mia couldn't scream. She couldn't breathe. The thing's head slowly peeked out, a head that wasn't human. Its mouth was too wide, its skin gray and stretched too thin over its bones. Its hollow, black eyes locked onto hers. Then it smiled. A horrible, impossible grin that split its face apart. And then it spoke. You should have never come here. The air in the room grew unbearably cold. Mia's vision blurred, her body locked in place by sheer terror. The creature crawled out of the closet in jerky, unnatural movements, its bones cracking as it twisted toward her. Mia wanted to move. Wanted to run. But she was paralyzed. The thing laughed. A dry, rasping sound that filled the room. Then the lights went out. And in the darkness, it whispered, right next to her ear, "Now you're mine." Mia finally found her voice and screamed. The next morning, the landlord, Mr. Grayson, stood outside apartment 206, shaking his head. The door was still locked. The dresser still barricaded against it. But the tenant? Gone. No sign of forced entry. No sign of struggle. Just gone. With a weary sigh, he pulled a key from his pocket, unlocked the door, and stepped inside. The apartment was exactly as it had been, except for one thing. The closet door was wide open. Mr. Grayson's shoulders slumped. He already knew what he would see. Inside the closet, carved deep into the wood, were the words, "Let me out." Mr. Grayson shut the closet door. He locked it. Then, he turned toward the empty apartment and whispered, "Not yet." And the apartment waited, hungry for its next tenant.